Andycharger, as most of you probably already know, and welcome along to tonight's live, all about the Audi TT. So I hope you've had a good week. Well, not a week yet, is it? It's the weekend. It's only been the weekend yesterday. There's a couple of great shows this weekend, which we're going to talk all about tonight. Hopefully many of you were at the show as well, so looking forward to speaking to you all about that. Of course, where are you watching from tonight? Why don't you let me know in the comments so I can understand where you're all watching from. Be great if you can let me know. See, there's a few people jumping on now, so welcome along if you're just joining on tonight. Lots to talk about. I've got quite a few things to get through tonight, so we're going to do a bit of a live demonstration of testing your fuel injectors. So that's one thing we're going to do tonight. I'm going to show you how I test my fuel injectors. I'm going to give you a walkthrough as well of my turbo. I've got a turbo on the floor tonight, which is off the breaker, as you probably know. And I'm going to give you a walkthrough of how that works and some warning signs, things to look for. And also a conversation I had just a few days ago with a chap that was golfing some rather blue-grey smoke at the back of his car and what I sort of deduced it might be. And lo and behold, it seems to be the case, actually. So maybe I do know what I'm talking about after all. Who knows? But anyway, welcome along, guys. Where are you all watching from tonight? Please do let me know. If you've got any questions for me, please pop them in the comments. It's normal Monday night. Hello, Vanessa. How are you tonight? I hope you had a great day yesterday. Your pictures look fantastic. Looks like everyone had a great day. We've been really lucky with the weather this year, haven't we? Where all the shows that we've been to have been really quite outstanding from a weather perspective. You know what's going to happen as we go into August. It's probably going to start chucking down with rain as always, but fingers crossed that doesn't happen and we carry on getting the great weather for show. So guys, let me know what you've been up to the weekend. Did you go to Simply Audi on Saturday? And if you did, what did you think of the cars? What did you think of the show? I've been a couple of times, so I'm an old veteran of the Simply Audi show. Looked like a great turnout. And of course, yesterday was Audi's in the Park 300, the limited number of Audis. And what was great about that show is it looked like there was a lot of vintage cars there. I watched Brin's video, his live video, while he walked around, which was great to see. A lot of those old Audi Quattros and things like that. So yeah, really nice collection of cars, I think, which was great to see. But we're in the garage tonight with the Roadster. The bonnet is open because I can talk you through some of the features on the Roadster that we're going to talk about tonight here on the channel. Hello, Paul. How are you? Hope you're doing well, buddy. Did you go to Audi's in the Park yesterday as well? So I know there was a few people that went off down there yesterday. So let me know how you got on at the shows, guys. Who have we got? Nuggy the Noggin. How are you doing tonight, sir? Hope you're doing well. I think you were at the show yesterday. I think I saw your car on display at some point. But there was a good collection of cars there yesterday, wasn't there? I think so. I don't know if it was probably as TT heavy as it has been. I think Brin said it seemed to be in the majority with TTs there, which was quite good to see. Yeah, great show it was. Brilliant. Always good to know that the shows are great. I mean, we are quite lucky in the UK. You have to look around at some of the chats on the various groups around the world, and you know we are very blessed with the number of cars we have on display everywhere. Hello, Steve. How are you tonight, buddy? Hope you're doing well. I wonder if your old yellow car was there yesterday. I don't know. I'll be interested to know if you've seen that around since and what's going on with your collection of cars as well. Guys, and also let us know in the comments tonight if you've got any problems with your car right now, because we are going to try and cover off any problems with viewers' cars tonight. And if you're enjoying what you're watching, as always, please do give it a little tap on screen. Let me know you're watching. Give me a thumbs up so we can help get the message around. I suppose content-wise, I don't know if you've seen, guys, but the France video went out on, I think, Thursday night, or Friday night. I think it was Friday it went out. And that was our road. No, it was Thursday night. I know it was, to the light. It went out on Thursday night, and it was our 25-minute rundown crammed into 25 minutes of 2 weeks driving around the country of France in this wonderful car behind me. We had a great time. We saw some great things, and the car performed faultlessly, as you've seen from the video. If you've not seen that video, guys, I highly recommend checking it out, because we are going to do a trip to France next year in the car, and I'd like as many of you that would like to come along and join us on that trip. So if you do want to come along next year, definitely get your name down. Hello from Steve. Hello from Spain, winners of the World Cup. Hello, Steve. Yes, well done on winning the World Cup. You're the holders for the next 4 years, so well done on that. Yeah, we were a bit sort of, I guess, a bit disappointed last week. Most people in the UK, I say in the UK, most of the English people were disappointed last week with how England performed midweek. And then, of course, Saturday night, they absolutely smashed France. And, well, they started to smash France, and I think they let a few goals in, didn't they? So I think it ended 6-4. But I was playing hockey at the time, so I didn't get to watch it. Good or bad, I guess. I'm not. Then again, being Welsh, I wasn't too worried about the result. But anyway, so yeah, good to have you along from Spain. Should have been England. Yeah, absolutely. Should have been England, but it is one of those things. But we're here to talk about cars tonight. We can talk about football as well, but we can definitely here to talk about cars. So I've got a rig set up there. So what I'm going to do is give it another sort of 10, 15 minutes before I do the demo of testing your fuel injectors. But I'll probably touch on the guy that I spoke to over the weekend, at the start of the weekend, that I saw driving around. It was driving around in a 225, quite an old 225 on Saturday. Looked quite tired. And the reason I noticed him driving it, well, other than the shape, was every time he accelerated, it seemed to like pump a lot of like blue and grey smoke out of the cars, like putting a lot of pollution out. And funny enough, a bit further along, I managed to stop and sort of wound the window down and said, "Mate, do you realise your back of your car is absolutely pumping fuel out?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh yeah, I'm losing power as well." I said, "Well," he said, "What? You know, bizarre." Anyway, so I said, "Do you want to have a chat?" And we pulled over and we started talking about the car. He says, "Look, it's burning a lot of oil as well." And I'm thinking, right, okay, there's a lot of things that are lining up here that this is possibly loss of power, burn a lot of oil. I said, "I don't suppose you've had it pressure tested, compression tested, have you at all?" He said, "No, I haven't, no." He said, I just keep topping up with oil." And I was like, "Yeah, but I said, that's only going to last for so long and then it's going to fail." And so anyway, he'd had it booked in. He'd gone and seen. He'd taken it today, and he messaged me and said, "Yeah, you're right. What you said about the rings." He said the engine's basically toast because it's going to need a full rebuild if he wants to put it back on the road. He's not going to because it's so old. It's so worn out, that car. He's not going to put it back together. It's going to cost too much money. So what was that had caused the problem? Well, the problem with that car was it was basically burning a lot of oil because it had worn piston rings. And I've actually got right here, not his one, unfortunately, but I do have right here, I have a piston out of an Audi TT Mark 1. And you can see right here at the top, you have got, if I show you that, these are the various piston rings at the top here. And you can see they move around, and you can see you can press them and they collapse down. And essentially they are causing, or they are creating you that seal when that piston's going up and down. The lubrication of the oil is stopping anything getting past. You see there's 3 of them there. So you've got 2 larger ones, and then this bottom one is up perforated. I don't know if you can see the perforations in that bottom one. It's not very clear, but essentially that allows the oil to flow through that one. And hello, everybody. I'm just going to say a quick hello before I carry on my story. Who is the best to find me an exhaust manifold for Tabitha APX? I'd speak to Mark Stanley about that if you want, Vanessa. I'm sure he'll be able to help you out with that, Vanessa. If you speak to Mark, he can get most parts. He's normally on the chat here somewhere. Evening, Bryn. How you doing, sir? Hello, Claire. How are you as well? And Stuart, Heather, how are you doing as well, buddy? Good to have you all along. But anyway, so going back to this, I'm sure Bryn knows all about this. So obviously it was suffering from blow-by where the oil is, the combustion is coming past and getting past, and all the oil was getting past and into the combustion cycle, burning the oil off. And that's why he was getting that blue and grey smoke, because it was essentially burning the oil off on top of the piston. You can see on there the pollution that's on top of that one. That obviously that is where the valves came together on this one. So, and that's because the rings obviously wear out due to poor maintenance normally. That one that I've got there, you can see it's full. All the little perforations are all blocked up. Again, down to poor maintenance. The piston rings wear, and then that's what's caused his problem. So, yeah, unfortunate for that guy, but also obviously something to point out to you guys. We talk all the time about keeping up the maintenance on these cars and keeping them going. You know, making sure you're following the service intervals when you can. Don't take a risk. Don't just string it out for a little bit, because of course, if you're running old, nasty old oil through that, clogging up those little holes, your piston rings are eventually going to fail. It's going to cause that all to be rather messy. Who have we got on there? Hello, Phil P. How are you doing tonight? Evening. All very brief visit tonight, unfortunately, with visitors. Thumbs up. Done though. Thank you very much, Phil. Appreciate that. Hi, Mark. Shall I message you through YouTube? There you go. He's there. I knew he'd be there. Yeah, absolutely. Drop him a message or even contact him on here. What I need to do, I need to start pinning up people's some really common things that come up every week. Maybe I need to have something in the background behind me. I do have my Mac here actually sitting right next to me, just sitting right here, which I was going to try and get spun up tonight so we can start using a piece of software so I can broadcast in both widescreen and obviously in portrait for you so you can see me in both formats, and we can start being a bit more interactive, bringing things into it. I'm going to do a few demos tonight as well over things, but I thought at least I would try and get things going. But yeah, I say for content wise, for me, we've spoken about the guy with the worn rings. But we've also this week obviously put the video out on Thursday for the France video. There's a video coming out tomorrow night on spats. I don't know if Paul Cliff is on yet. I was hoping to put the video out yesterday, but it's going to be coming tomorrow night, that video. And it's all about fitting these 3D printed spats that Paul is producing. Fantastic looking item. Highly recommend doing it. Check out the video tomorrow. Look at the quality of Paul's work. His spraying work is second to none. So Paul is selling sets of color-coded spats for your car. Oh, there he is. Talk of the devil, and he appears. How you doing, Paul? So Paul is selling sets of spats color-coded for your car for £80. The video is coming tomorrow night. I highly recommend you watch that. I think Paul and I have got a little competition that we're going to be running, which I will talk about more next Monday. But if you would like to be entered into a raffle to win a set of color-coded spats of your choice for your car, then stay tuned next Monday night and we'll talk all about that. But if you can't wait to then and you want to go and buy a set, definitely get in touch with Paul right now. Go and look at his work on Facebook. And of course, check out the video tomorrow night where you can see all the details. All the details for contacting Paul will be in the in the video as well. But if you want to contact Paul, I don't think you mind me giving his email address out. So it's paulc183@hotmail.com if you want to drop him a message about the spats. Definitely something to check out. So yeah, we've spoken about the rings, we've spoken about the spats video. Last night, or yesterday, daytime should I say, I fitted a dash cam as well to my brother's car. So I got in touch, FitCam X got in touch with me, and they said, would you like to fit one of our dash cams out? They are a smart dash cam that's integrated into the mirror. And of course, it doesn't fit the TT because of the TT mirror is not powered. So they said they can't fit it to the TT, but they have another car to use. My brother's got a Mini, so we use the Mini. So I'm sure Vanessa and Lee, you'll be interested in this. So we have fitted an integrated dash cam, 4K dash cam into his car. Amazing bit of kit, because then you haven't got the whole hassle of having a stuck-on camera on your screen. It's all encapsulated in the mirror housing. So I've done a video on that as well. So that'll be coming out this week at some point. Appreciate it's not Audi content. Appreciate it's not even Fiesta content, but it is Mini content, and it is something I wanted to put out and share with those of you that are watching. So yeah, guys, if you've got, I'm just going to go through the comments because I'm just busy chatting away and I don't want people to think I am neglecting them. Let's have a look. Can you tell me the difference in makes with a blue Haldex controller than the standard one? I think the blue Haldex controller allows you to vary the amount or the percentage of control between the front and the rear wheels, I believe. I might be wrong on that, but I think the blue Haldex allows you to vary the amount of percentage of assistance the rear end gives. Pretty sure that's what it is, but I might be wrong. I don't know if there's anyone that can comment on that. Bryn might know more about that than I do. They seem expensive. A second-hand unit's around £300. Yes, Steve, I think that's what they are. I think they are variable percentage Haldex control units, essentially. I will share that around the Mini Club. Thank you, Vanessa. Yeah, it's a really good bit of kit, actually. Blue sends more to the rear and reacts quicker. Oh, there you go. So it's not variable, but it does put more to the back. That's good. But yeah, definitely please do share it around the Mini people, because it's a really nice little bit of kit, and it turned up in this box, and I can go and get the box and show you, but it was just a massive box, and the actual thing itself is a small little bit of plastic inside, weighs nothing. And I was thinking, this doesn't really bode well, but it's just because it's a case that clips together with a camera at the front. And yeah, really neat little job, a great way of doing it. So if you haven't got a built-in dash cam, it's a great way of having like an OEM plus factory fit looking dash cam in your car. So yeah, definitely worth checking that out. But where are you all watching from tonight? I know we've got somebody on from Spain, but let me know where else in the comments you are watching from. It'd be great to know where you are joining on from. Again, I've got the bonnet open because when I'm going to talk about the my test, I'm going to do my test rig on cleaning the injectors. I'm going to show you what I do. I'm hoping I've got enough carb cleaner left in my bottle, enough pressure to do it. I'm sure I have, but it is running a bit low and I do need to put some new stuff in it. I need to swap the bottle over. Shout out to Bryn for the live yesterday at 80, out in the Park 300, working in Spain, so couldn't make it to settle for the walk around. Yeah, it's always great, isn't it? Well done on that, Bryn. You've done a video and you've also done the live as well. So yeah, really appreciate it. Good to see you back out at shows as well, buddy. But I think having someone at the shows and able to share it around the world to watch, for those of you watching that can't make the shows, is always really a really good thing to do. There's always people watching from Spain. I've had people from Australia watching middle of the night for there when we've been doing broadcasts and places. It's always great to involve everyone and keep the whole worldwide TT community together. So yeah, I'm sure Bryn appreciates that. Evening, Pip, how you doing? I know you're from near Ipswich. Hope you're doing well. Hope the car's running okay. Steve's watching from his living room in Enfield. Evening from the Netherlands. Hello, Jeffrey. How are you? Good to have you along. I did see that my old friend Frank Smulders had been over to Ingolstadt to the Audi Museum last week. So if you haven't checked out some of Frank's content, and he's got a really nice website, Frank, actually, which is www.audi-tt.eu. So if you want to check out Frank's website, if you've not been there, a lot of information on the history of the car, special features, limited edition models, just lots of stuff about the Audi TT Mark 1. Really interesting site. It's in English and Dutch. So if you don't speak Dutch, it's not a problem. It does cover it in English as well. But Frank and a few other guys went to Ingolstadt to the museum this week and did a walk around, talked to a few people, and saw some great cars. And I noticed that Frank had got a great picture of his car inside the museum as well. Nice to see that Audi engaging with older car owners as well, because if I'm perfectly honest, that's the one thing I think Audi do let themselves down with a little bit, is they're very focused on the here and now, on what cars they're selling, and the history and the heritage side does get a little bit neglected. I know that when we've approached various heritage parts of Audi to be involved in some of the shows that we've run, that they haven't been very responsive. When I've looked into the history behind my Papaya car, as you probably remember, I did a deep dive video on the paints, how many are left or how many existed in Papaya. And we know it was 41 or 42, was it, in that colour. They weren't very forthcoming with that information. I had to sort of badger, and I did get the information from Audi in Germany. They were quite helpful when I sort of started making a few noises. But I've noticed since then, other people have given the contact details to, they haven't been very forthcoming with that information. So I think they don't want to be bothered. Why they don't just publish the information, I don't know. That would be the way forward, wouldn't it? And then it's out there in public domain for everyone. Hey ho, is what it is. Any news on location for next year's international meet? Not at the moment. We've had a few... We've reached out to a few places. I know that there was a leaflet going around for the meet that goes on in Belgium next year on the 4th, 5th and 6th of June. I don't think that one's going to be, well, the event will be going on, but I don't think we'll be using that. We're going to look for our own event that we can hold, probably around the same sort of time as we went this year, and we have been, because we think it's a popular time for people to go. It doesn't clash with other events. The nearer you get to summer, the more restrictions you're going to have with people taking their holidays. And of course, that we are going to be going off to France ourselves on the 12th of June next year for the run to the south of France and back, the 8-day trip that I hope many of you will be part of. And that will happen the week after that particular show. So again, if you want to be part of that, you know what to do. Get in touch with me at the channel and we can talk all about it. But yeah, so we are looking at a few venues at the moment, Dave. So keep your eyes peeled on the channel and that we'll let you know. Vanessa said, BWS was nice to see yesterday, Brian, and thanks for having Tabitha in your film yesterday. Yeah, nice. Did see Tabitha with a new bright green strut brace has made the cut. And also great to see that Lee rocking the Quattrophenia 5 t-shirt yesterday in green, in Halford green, I've classed that as on the site. He's got his own colour as Lee, so if you want a Halford green t-shirt, you know where to go. Steve is watching from his hotel room. Was a toss-up between phoning the wife or tuning into the channels. Here I am. Absolutely right choice, Steve. The right choice you've made there. Yeah, BWST. I was chatting to one of the Belgian guys yesterday, and he's contacting the organizer with some ideas for venues. That's a great idea. That's a great bit of information. Yeah, because I think we do want to put that show on, and you know, Frank does a lot of work in Europe behind the scenes, organising that side of things. I know Simon and I obviously do a lot of work on running the event, getting the cars from the UK, me covering it on here. There's a lot of behind the scenes work that goes on. So we are hopefully going to put something together because everyone says it's such a great event. A lot of people I've spoken to about the event have said they would go back to Ypres anyway, even just for a couple of days, even if the car show wasn't going to be held at Caddy Cars because they like the weekend anyway. So there might still be an opportunity to do that. I'm not going to promise that, but there could be something else in the pipeline as well. So yeah, absolutely, lots of things going on. As we've got Bryn on as well, obviously there'll be some great technical knowledge online tonight. So if you want to ask any questions, I'm sure Bryn will be doing his live show tomorrow night as well. So you get back-to-back nights of TT content this week. Hopefully the feed holds up a bit better this week. I've noticed that my router in the corner of the garage is staying connected tonight, which is good. So it's not dropping off, not losing the connection, which is always good. And I have also got the Mac set up so I can see your comments nice and big, not just on the screen. So I've got it on my Mac as well. So I thought what we'd probably do is we'd have a look under the bonnet at a few parts on the car, because we're going to talk about the injectors. So I might show you on the car where the injectors would be, just to give you a little bit of an idea. I'm going to bring the camera over without knocking it. 2 nights of not ringing the wife then. Well, that's down to you, Steve. Can't really comment on that, but if that's what you're doing. So here we have on the engine. I'm going to just take that off automatic control for a minute. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the camera down, and I'm going to move the camera like this. And then hopefully, there we go. You'll better see me, and it's not going to start following my face. So what we have right here is your fuel rail that's running across the top of the inlet manifold right there. You can see it there. And then you've got these 4 wires that are going down into the injectors themselves. And that's obviously the injectors are sitting in, they've got small little cups they sit into that make a nice seal into your block. And then it's obviously pumping fuel in as and when it's needed. And the way essentially it's working is the injectors are like pulsing fuel at the right time of the combustion cycle by having like electrical current pass through them at the right time. So the electrical impulse comes through, it tells that injector squirts the fuel, happy days, it comes through. Now you can suffer with the small little O-rings, which I'm going to show you on one of them in a minute. They tend to fail and tend to start leaking. So you do start suffering with leaking O-rings as well. I think you can replace them still, because I think there's some available on Auto Dock. So you can buy a set of those rings, but I think they're also becoming scarce to get hold of. I think you can still get new injectors for them as well. But of course, you could just be suffering with a sticky injector. It could have got dirty. It might have something trapped inside it. So what's the best way to give them a clean? Well, I'm going to show you how I do it in a minute and how I have done it previously, coming up with a solution of trying to test them, make sure that they are spraying in the right way. But again, the injectors, there's 4 of them on this car, 1, 2, 3, 4, all working and injecting fuel into your car. Right, so now I'm going to put that back onto, hopefully on face follow mode, and it will follow me back over here. There we go. It's like seamless, isn't it? So I'm going to take a look at the fuel rail that I've got off the car right here. That is off the breaker car. So there you go. So that's the part we've just looked at. And those wires, I'll just spin that around there. So those wires would be plugged in just here on those injectors. I don't know if you can see that. Now, these injectors are held in position on the fuel rail with this small metal clip right here. You can see that, so that flicks around there and that just locks them into place just like that. So to remove that, he says, I'm just going to try and remove one. Let's get a screwdriver. So we get this into the clip at the back, just to loosen the clip off, just like that. That brings the clip off. And then once you've got that off, you can get the injector and literally just pull it and it pops out. So there is your fuel injector, and the principle being it's going into the fuel injector, and you've got it, fuel will go in and it will squirt out the bottom, essentially, if you can think about that. So fuel goes in, squirts out the bottom into the engine. So those are the small little on the top there. Those are the little O-rings, which I'm going to give you a close-up of there. There's one I've taken off there. So they just roll off. And of course, that's where you can see they could potentially leak. Oh, that's not meant to do that. We'll just turn that around. I'm going to turn that around. Hopefully, guys, you can see me. I'm not at a funny angle. I did just go at a funny angle just then. I don't know why the camera did that. Steve Cow, how you doing, buddy? Good to have you along. And Claire, thank you very much for £10. Thank you very much. Always most appreciated, and always one of my biggest subscribers on the channel and supporters as a member. So thank you so much, Claire. It's great to see so many members on tonight as well. You're all in green, all the members. So it's always great to have the members along as well, for supporting the channel, going that bit further to keep things going and keep the channel where it is today. So thank you all for your ongoing support. And of course, if you want to become a member, it's not compulsory, there's no obligation, but there is a little link down in the bottom of this feed tonight where you can join up and become a member of the channel as well. And of course, if you're enjoying what you're watching with me talking about cars tonight and you enjoy my content, there's also a little button down there to buy me a coffee and buy me a little super thanks or a little super chat as well. So if you want to do that, most appreciated, as we save up towards the new camera for the channel, because the poor old GoPro is getting really old and worn out now. It's not really doing a great job. I'm using the phone I'm using tonight actually is my daughter's old phone. So she's in Rhodes at the moment, so she won't know. She's on her way back. But I'm using her phone because it's better than my phone, basically, and it gives us a much clearer picture. But anyway, so there is our little injector. So the principle being, there's your electrical connector right there, and the electrical current goes in, pulses in, squirts fuel out. Nice, easy principle. So let's have a look at my little test rig and see how that works. It's behind you guys. So excuse the mess in the garage as well, guys, because it is a little bit messy. I'm just going to spin you around here. He says, I'm going to step over. Will that allow me to go back there? Yeah, it will do. Right, here we go. The camera's going to have to keep up. You're going to keep up, camera? Thinking about keeping up? There you go. Right, so what have we got right here? Well, right here, I'm now going to turn that off again. And I'm going to turn this over here. And here's my little rig. Here is my little rig right here. So what have I got on my little rig? Well, to start with, I've got a piece of paper on the back wall. That's quite important because that is going to show us our spray pattern that the injector will actually produce when we put a current through it. So what have we got? Well, we've got the battery set up right here, connected up. It's actually having a little charge off of Fiesta, this one, so it's a nice little tiny battery. We're going to use that as our power supply, and we're going to pulse the battery by touching the electrical connectors from the connector to the injector, and we're going to get a spray pattern on the back of the wall. So what we have right here is I've got a can of sort of air intake and carb cleaner, because that will help break down any sort of build up of carbon, anything that might be stuck in that injector. Better than fuel, obviously, because it's what it's for. It's for dissolving stuff down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to press this, and I'm going to build up pressure in this little rubber tube right here. The injector is right here in my fingers. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to drop you down a little bit, and then I'm going to do this. I'm going to bring you around here, just like that. And then you can see this whole principle from the side. So there we go. So this is the injector right here. It's aiming straight at that piece of paper. So I'm going to build up some pressure by pressing that, getting some, you hear that? It's really running out. It's really low. So give it a few squirts. And by doing that, I've got it on a little Jubilee clip, that little pipe there. It's built up to my injector like that. So there's actually pressure now built up in that. I can hear it sort of whinging away there. And then what I've got it connected up on on my rig from a connector that would have come off the breaker car. And then all I'm going to do, I'm going to take my electrical wires here and just pulse it on the battery. Can you see that? Now, I would expect, and when I normally do this on an injector that's working, that spray pattern should be nice and smooth and like a round circle on here. The fact it's spraying and spraying out all over the shop would suggest it's having a problem spraying. Now, that could be because there's not enough pressure in this bottle here to actually generate any force to come out, and it's really just dribbling out. But normally it sprays a jet perfectly in the middle, so you get a nice round circle. So we'll try it again. Just take it on the wires, just give it a little pulse. And you can see it's spraying in 2 separate locations. That's not right, because that should spray in 1 location. So that's telling me there's probably a bit of a blockage in this injector. So we'll keep doing it. Right, it's run out of stuff now. So just keep topping it up by pressing the button. There you go. You can hear that spraying into the tube like that. And what I did notice when I first did this, the fluid that came out was quite yellow. And that's because I guess there's obviously some dirt inside it that it's actually cleaned up. So it did actually clean something out of it. And because this is there to clean the injector, it's good injector cleaner. It should just do the job for you. So again, we'll do it. And I can see that that is actually coming through clearer now. I think a lot of it's down to the pressure in the bottle. But essentially, when you spray it on a piece of paper, you can see the pattern of the fluid. So it should be hitting that in the middle and spraying nicely. So something is going on with that. So that needs a bit of investigation. Again, a nice clean one will come through in a nice round circle. This obviously isn't. So that's my little rig. I'm going to do a proper video on this as well. So what I've got the battery running off a battery charger because it was flat at the moment. But you could also use a battery charger running on 12-volt continuous supply to try this as well if you haven't got a battery to hand. But a battery, an injector connector, a bottle of air intake carb cleaner, a small Jubilee clip, a rubber pipe, a piece of paper, and a bit of time, and that's all you need to give your injectors a clean. That's what I do, and that's what's worked for me. If you like that idea, then let me know. If you've got a better way of doing it, then let me know in the comments as well. But that's just my little demo of cleaning up those injectors. What do you think of that, guys? Let me know. It's going to put you back up now, and I'm going to try and step over this wire without falling over. See if I can do that. There we go. I hope you enjoyed that little demo. I'm just going to bring my Mac back to life because I just noticed that there could have been some comments coming and I've probably missed it. So what did you think of that, guys? Let me know. Do you find that interesting? Do you want me to do little jobs like that while we're live every week just to give you a bit of an insight and stuff? I do. I don't know. Or do you find that a bit of a hindrance? You let me know. Hello, Ice Machine S6. Is that Ice Machine Essex? Is that hello there? The pattern of the TT injectors should give 4 jets, but usually have 3 bar behind them. Yeah, so that's interesting actually, because when I do it, it comes through as a nice clean jet. So if it's 4 that are being delivered, that was doing some crazy stuff. Then it was doing 2 in a line. So yeah, mad. Yeah, definitely demos are good. Okay, I'll do that. I'll see what else I can cover off next week that can help with your questions, I guess. But okay, cool. What else have we got there? I'm just reading back through. Oh, I've already seen that one. Yeah. Okay, cool. Right, guys, what do you want me to cover off next tonight? Because I say we've talked about the guy with the smoke. We've talked about the fuel injector. We could talk about the turbo because I've got a turbo on the floor off the car, so we can have a little look at that as well. So that's something else I want to cover tonight. But if you've got any questions you want to stick in the chat, please do fire them into the chat. We're also going to talk about some events actually, because there are some events still to come up this year, which is a week next Sunday. So on the 2nd of August, we have the breakfast meet in Southend, Jeff Bedford's breakfast meet. So if you're interested in coming along to that, it's 9:30 in Southend. It's definitely one to get along to because it's always a great meet in Southend. And also we've got Quattrophenia coming up on Saturday, the 5th of September as well. So at the end of, well, 5 weeks after Jeff's meet, we've got the one in can't even speak tonight, from Crawley to Brighton, essentially. So the London to Brighton run, we start at the Duke's Head pub in Crawley Down, and we drive down to Brighton and obviously have drinks and food on the marina. So if you want to join us and be part of that, then definitely come along to that on the 5th of September, Saturday the 5th of September. So there's a couple of meets coming up. If you've got other meets that you're aware of that are coming up, why don't you share them with me on here tonight, and then we can probably help other people out as well. Always useful to share stuff. Mark said, we as the guy with the smoke, dear friend Lee the fire breather. Oh, where is he? Yeah, where's Lee the fire breather? I don't know. I don't think he's on tonight. But yeah, he does like he's good at fabricating stuff, is Ali. He's good at making stuff and coming up with a solution to keep that car running, because there's always something going on the track with that car. He does, he's doing it on a shoestring. I did a video actually of track car on a budget, and that's what Lee's doing. To be fair to Lee, he does a great job of keeping that TT on the track. I don't know how competitive a TT really is in the racing scene, because I think they're quite heavy front-ended cars really for racing. I know that it was in the same category as a Golf, and another Golf horse used to wipe the floor with it. So, but is what it is. It's good to see people getting out there and using them for things other than just driving on the roads. A video to help with replacing an inlet manifold would be useful, please. Okay, that's something we can probably cover off one week. As good as your video of the sump pickup pipe. Oh, that'll be a bit of a challenge. I did do a lot of research and a lot of work on my sump beginner's guide video, because there's a lot of people out there like me didn't really know what they were doing. It's a bit of a daunting job, isn't it? Taking a sump off a car. That was, for me, that was one of the biggest mechanical jobs, taking something off that I've done that I was wanting to put back together and get to work afterwards. For a lot of people, it probably isn't a big job, but again, if you've not got any mechanical experience, which I don't have really, it was a bit of a daunting task, because you are exposing the bottom of the engine in my eyes. But yeah, have you done a video on replacing the tip? No, I haven't, but someone asked me to do it for them quite recently, and I think if it's one of those jobs that you're doing at home for yourself and you are not using the car on a daily basis, probably fine to do. My concern over doing the tip would be to get good access to it. You've got to take quite a few things off around it. When I did that pipe between the tip and the hockey puck, the breather pipe, to get the best access, so I didn't put the tip under any sort of load or pressure when I fitted the pipe. I took the airbox off as well to give me the best access down there. That's the best way to get to the tip, I think, is to take that off, take your time rather than fiddling around. Because the trouble is, you can disrupt other pipe work down there, other pipe work on the PCV system, and you could introduce cracks, you could introduce holes, you could introduce more problems than you do good by replacing it. So if you're going to do it, it's worth doing it when you've got the chance, if something goes wrong, the car's not off the road. That would be my advice. Not always the luxury for a lot of people, I get that, but I definitely take the airbox off. Brim might have a better solution for doing the tip, but it's one of those things that I was a bit like, well, a guy wanted me to change one Saturday morning on the drive, and I was a bit nervous about doing it. Getting it off and putting the new one on would be fine, but I was worried about disrupting other pipes and then introducing boost leaks or like leaks in the PCV system and causing problems and introducing codes. Never good. The sump was scary, but we followed your film and it went perfect. Thank you. That's good to know, Vanessa. I'm glad to know that my videos are helping people take their time and doing stuff. There's a few things I was going to cover from the Roadster tonight, because I've got the Roadster behind me, and there's a lot of things that keep getting posted up on Facebook particularly. And the questions come up almost like daily on some of these topics. One of the things is fixing the rear glass if it's fallen out. That's the one topic. Another one is when people post up, normally on a Roadster group, but they will say, oh, my roof stopped working, or my fuel cap won't open, or my boot stopped opening, or my windows won't come down, or my door locks aren't working. Or it's always electrical problems. And on a Roadster, one of the things you've always got to think about when it comes to electrical problems like that is the CCM, because of its location. And I thought, well, what are your options behind that CCM? Can you move the CCM? The trouble is the harness that connects the CCM up is quite tight. The CCM, for those that don't know, is the comfort control module, and it sits in a void just behind the driver's seat on a UK car. And you can't really access it with the roof down, because the void is where the roof folds into. There's like a small carpeted door just beyond the driver's headrest, and you pop the carpet door off, a nice void down, and you can see sitting there, you can see the CCM. It's bolted to the bulkhead, essentially, the back of the car. And it's a bad design because the electrical connectors are all like running in a row down the one side of it. It's bolted to the bulkhead, and what happens is the little tray that the water, because the roof is designed to leak as well, it's designed to leak around the edge and pour away down a small like little plastic gully square tray thing with a little hole in the middle, a little cross over it to stop stuff going down it. Leaves fall down, go on the roof, fall down there, and end up blocking it up, or things getting it to block it up. And that little tray overfills, pours into your roof. That's problem number one. Other one is the roof window comes away, starts letting water in, water comes in, goes straight into that void, as it would do if the little tray was filling up. Water goes down, ends up on the void roof. The only place it can go is to soak into that hole where the carpet is covering over. Water's going to go down, obviously, straight past the CCM, all over the CCM, makes the CCM wet, stops all the electrical connections working. So your boot stops working, your fuel flap stops working, your windows, your doors, the roof, it all stops working. And whenever I see those posts, I think that's where you need to be looking. So that's my first tip is, if you have those sort of electrical problems with a car, go and have a look at your CCM. That's where it's going to be. What can you do to solve the problem? Well, again, some people said about relocating it into the boot. I don't know how you do that because of that tightness of the actual loom, because the loom fit is very tight, as I said. So what you could possibly do is you could almost unbolt it from where it is and put some spaces behind it, encase it in some sort of plastic box, and move it away from the bulkhead and away from any water that's running down. You could try and raise it up as much as you can and bolt it onto like a bracket and hold it higher up so it's not on the water. There's a lot of things you can do, but my concern over it would be, if you've got damp in that void already, it's going to, over time, it'll evaporate and it'll sit on it's just going to be a damp environment. It's going to cause problems. So you need to stop water getting in there, essentially, is the best way forward. So any problems with the roof window, get that sorted. If your roof is leaking, get that sorted. Whenever you are using the car, if you're parking it under any leaves or anywhere where things fall on the car, always put your hand turn around in the car, if you can imagine, and put your hand just under the edge of the roof, and you'll feel where that little plastic tray is, just about maybe 2 or 3 inches behind the door, along the side there. You can feel it in the roof mechanism where that water seeps away, and make sure there's nothing in there blocking the hole. Because if you block it up, rain falls into it, or water falls into the void. So keeping it dry is probably the most important thing. I'm not sure about encasing it in like a rubber valve or like a rubber bellows or something like that, because I think if you did that and water gets into it, you're going to trap the water inside it, and that's going to cause more problems. So that's my thoughts on that. I'm just going to look through. I've got a dash. Have fun. Thanks, Bryn. Have a good evening, buddy. Hamza, good evening to you, sir. How are you doing? Claire's put, I'm putting mine in a hot water bottle. Yeah, see, that's a good idea. My only concern over it, Claire, will be if you do get damp into that hot water bottle. If you get damp in there and it starts building up, and you end up with, you could end up with more problems because you've introduced damp and you're keeping the damp in there. I'm just going to quickly log into my laptop, my Mac again, so I can see on screen any comments. It's easy for me to see on the screen there than try and zoom in with you guys there. So that is one thing I was going to cover off on the on the car. But it does lead me nicely into another question that people are getting about the roof as well. People are telling me that they are having problems with the roof. They close the roof and the little yellow light that tells you the roof open is still illuminated. That seems to be another common problem at the moment. So the way to solve that is I'm going to show you that actually on the car. I'm going to take you over to the Roadster and we're going to have a little look at my car and see how I solved that problem, because I too had that problem on the Roadster. So I can also show you what my son did to my door, which upsets me every time I look at the car. Here we have the sensor essentially that tells me that the roof is shut. Now what you've got is, can you hear that? If I do that, the windows go down. Hear that? So what I'm going to do is this sensor here, you can see I'll push that. That is the one that tends to cause a problem and starts to fail. And the way to fix it is I took a small piece, if I can zoom in there, I took a small piece of credit card and stuck it to the inside of that, which allows the sensor to push over. Because what happens is that sensor bends over time. So now when I push it, it makes contact and it tells the roof it is now closed by filling that gap. So that was one way to deal with that problem on the Roadster. So if you have that problem in your car, if you get the illuminated light that tells you the roof's open on the dash, do that and that will cause the problem. Hello, Carl. How are you doing, buddy? Good to see you. It's been a while. Hope you're doing well, mate. And I don't know, are you coming to Jeff's meet on Sunday, the 2nd of August? Hopefully you are, and hopefully we will see you there as well. And of course, guys, if you are looking to go to a meet in early August, then definitely come along to Southend. It's a great meet to attend. But yeah, so I was going to wonder if I could show you where that little, I don't think I can show you on here where that little leak in, or where the little plastic tray is, because that would be good to show you guys, but I don't think I can because the roof is actually in the not the closed, in the open position, folded away. So it's probably worth just showing you what I'm talking about here. So here is your roof folded away into the void, and about here underneath the roof is where that little void carpet door is that stops, or that gives you access to the CCM. So that's where it's located on a Roadster. There's a lots of, is that going to go up? It hasn't gone up, interestingly, yeah. So there you go. So that is some common problems. But again, some of the common problems you can find on your car if your CCM is failing on your Roadster. It's normally electrical. It'll be your flap won't open for your fuel, your boot won't open, your windows won't drop, your door locks won't work, your hood won't open or go up and down. It's just some of those common problems. Doesn't have to be all of them, but could be a selection of some of those that could be causing you a problem. What's it? Yeah, should be great, Carl. I'll see you at Jeff's. Hello, Andy. How you doing, buddy? What did you use? Anything specific to glue it on? I've got the same problem. Yeah, I just used a bit of mastic to hold it on, Andy, to be honest. And you can see there, that's been on for years as well. That's been in place for years, so it's not budging. But that's a great little trick. So there's actually a video on my channel about that, about fixing the roof close sensor. So it's not a case of replacing the sensor. It's a case of sticking an extra little bit of plastic on the inside of it that allows you to make a connection and keep that closed. Because what happens is the roof's got a hook that goes under there, pushes it down right underneath and pushes it closed, and that's how that works. So all good in the hood. So yeah, if you've got any questions for me, guys, please put it in the chat. If you've got any suggestions or any requests you might have for video content as well, let me know, because I've always got some space to cover off a few more videos. I'm just doing a video on removing the steering wheel, which I'm sure some of you already know how to do. It's quite, it's one of those things that if you don't think about what you need to do, you could get yourself in a mess, because obviously there's an airbag in the steering wheel. And if your car is all plugged together and your steering wheel is all plugged into the battery still, and you try and take your steering wheel off, you could end up with a big balloon in your face. So the best thing for you to do is disconnect the battery before you mess with anything steering wheel based. and then you can remove the steering wheel quite easily. Best thing to do if you're putting that steering wheel back on though is make a note of where the boss position is when you take the boss out. I'm going to cover that in the video as well, because if you don't take note of where the boss is and the steering wheel, when you take it off, you got to put it back on, bolt it all up, and then you get your wheel straight and the steering wheel's around the corner. You'll have to do it all again. So make sure you make note of where the steering wheel is, its straight position, before you take it off. Just going to have a quick look back through their comments to make sure I've not missed anything. What have we got there? We've got having a quick scroll back. Claire's put the door fabric is not straightforward to pull off, Andy. The left-hand side is also baggy. Have you any tips? What door fabric are you talking about? The door liner are you talking about there, Claire? Is it the actual fabric on the door? Just going back through a few other comments. Lee, South Coast, East Sussex. Hi, Andy, hope as well. Good to see you, Lee. Not seeing you for a while. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Christy, Jamie, evening, Andy. Your trip looked wonderful. Glad everything went okay. Thank you very much. The trip was amazing. Guys, if you haven't seen that trip video of our trip in this car to the south of France, I highly recommend you go and watch it, because we are going to be doing it again next year. So if you want to come along, 12th to the 20th of June next year, we're going to be recreating that journey. 8 days of driving through France, 3 days in the Alps, not 3 days in the Alps, 2 days in the Alps, but we're going to be passing through it. 3 days back, 3 days in the south of France, including a lap of Monaco, and 2 days down going through Dijon. So if you want to be part of that, then definitely get in touch with me and gauge your interest. There's also a group on the TT Addicts as an event that's been created for it as well. So if you want to be coming along, get your interest on there as well. What else have we got? Claire said, may as well try it, but I didn't pay too much roof sensors. Okay. Wooden acrylic or silicone coating help waterproof the cam. A CCM, I reckon that is, they call it, conformal coatings might work. Yeah, there's a few people that have talked about that. I was looking at on the TT forum, and someone said you can coat it in almost like I guess like a rubberized covering, spray-on covering, but they don't recognise it, or they don't recommend it for electrical connections. But someone else said, well, it's not going to cause it any problems, so just use it. So there is that as an option. There's lots of things you can probably do, lots of things to try. This one, did have a problem, funny enough. The boot lock and also the fuel flap stopped working for a couple of days. It got really wet. And when I checked that little plastic tray, there was leaves in it, and it was causing water to pour into the void. And the reason I know that is I took the carpet door off the void. As soon as I lifted that carpet, I could feel the damp in the carpet, put my hand in the void, and it was all damp on the inside. So what did I do? I got a massive bag of rice in a sock, and I stuck it straight into the void. I hair dried it as well to try and dry most of the moisture out of it as well. Got it as dry as possible and hope for the best. And luckily, it all started working again, but it hadn't gone too far. So obviously that had been an issue because the roof void had got wet because the little hole had got blocked up. What else we got? I cut some number plate adhesive stickers, sponged and stuck those to the roof sensor on a previous Roadster. That did the trick. Yeah, I think I might have done that on this one actually. It might be on the video. So that's also another good trick. Yeah, CCM, Noggy's put. Andy's replied. Great, Steve Chesham. That'll be a good vid. Change airbag. Mine is crook lock stuff. Oh, right, crook lock stuff. Okay. Yeah, I've noticed, and I don't know if it's something to do with something I've disconnected, but my steering lock doesn't work on my steering wheel on the breaker. I don't know if it's because I've got so much disconnected it doesn't lock, but I was hoping, because when I want to take the steering wheel off, the principle behind it is, if you can think of a TT steering wheel, I wish I had one in my hand to show you now. So I'm holding it, you've got the horizontal spokes and then one vertical spoke going down. So the holes to undo the steering wheel are on the back of the two horizontal spokes. You can't really get access to it. So the best thing to do is turn your steering wheel 90 degrees. So the horizontal spoke is now vertical. You can reach on the back of the bolt then, and the bolts are an angle as well. They're not straight, so that does confuse some people. They have to come at an angle, a bit like a 45-degree angle to it. Once you've got one out, spin the wheel 180 degrees and take the other one out, And then if you're not careful, the middle just falls away. And it's also got the connection for the airbag on there going to the wheel, so you have to disconnect that as well. But just 2 bolts that are holding that front airbag module to the steering wheel. But of course, if you are going to be messing around with the steering wheel, please make sure you've disconnected the battery and allow the car to discharge before you start working on it, because the last thing you want to do is trigger the airbag. What have we got? Cooling fan doesn't work on mine. Elkiomali 446. Your cooling fan's not working. Is that your cooling fans on the front of the car? Could be a couple of things. It could be the fan motor itself has worn out. It could be the fan control module has damaged as well. What people tend to find is the big fan, as they call it, tends to wear out and break, and the little fan, the smaller fan, keeps on working. So good way to work out if your fans aren't working is obviously get the car up to temperature and then leave it stationary for a bit, leave the engine running. And if it starts, it's obviously there's no air going through the car at that point, so the car should technically start to overheat a little bit, and you'll hear the fans come on. If you watch the temperature gauge, it starts going up above 90, it gets up to 100, 115, whatever, and the fans aren't coming on, you've got a problem. So the fans aren't working. Of course, when you're driving in normal, everyday driving, and you're traveling through nice, cool air, it's going to cool the radiator down anyway, keep it nice and cool. But of course, if you're sat in stationary traffic, it's going to start heating up. So you need to make sure that's working, guys, for definite. Had a call this week from the owners of Catherine and Machine, which is quite nice. Sorted them out with a Howlets controller to get Laura's lovely TT sorted. Word of mouth goes a long way. Absolutely does, Mark. You are an absolute pillar of the TT community as well, because that's anyone wants anything TT based, any parts, get in touch with Mark. Mark's on the chat right now. He's definitely the guy to speak to if you want anything TT based. Great selection of used parts, but also has a lot of new old stock parts as well. I did say we'll have to get together and work out stuff you've got, Mark, so we can start sharing that with people, because people may not know these new old stock parts are available from you in the UK, and I think we should be maybe get them out there for people that know that they've got them. Richard Stevenson, can any TT steering wheel for the Mark 1 fit the Mark 1? Will you mention this when you do the video? Do you mean any Mark 1 steering wheel or any TT steering wheel? Because I think the Mark 2 steering wheel will fit, but the steering wheel controls won't work. I think it's probably the best way to describe it. So you can get the TT steering wheel to fit, but you won't be able to use any of the controls. It's just one of the shortcomings of the TT. Mark 3, I don't know, but yeah, I don't really see. I don't see why you'd want a steering wheel from another car on it. Might be wrong, but I think the steering wheel that comes with it is quite nice anyway. You can get the steering wheels redressed in new leather. I know Andy Mortimer has done that. He sent his off to, is it Castle steering wheels you sent it to? Royal steering wheels? One of the two. Royal steering wheels, I think it is. And they redid your steering wheel for you. It looks great. So that's one option. The steering wheel I've got in that car at the moment, the reason I'm taking it off is I'm probably going to keep it as a memento of the car. I don't think it's got long for this for the drive now. I think it's going to have to go soon. Look, there might be a couple more videos in it yet for me. That's what I keep thinking. I could do a bit more content coverage and just carry on getting it. But I'm thinking once that car's gone, guys, obviously, I've got the Roadster and I cover Roadster stuff. I've got the 3.2 and I'm trying to cover more 3.2 stuff. But what would you like me to see do next? What do you want me to do? Do you want me to get another car and do work on that? Do you want me to maybe take a car and modify it now? Do you want to get one, maybe get one that needs a bit of work, a bit like the Breaker did, but it'd be good to have a runner in the first place, wouldn't it? So we can just take a runner, start chipping it up a little bit, putting a few performance parts on it and make it work a bit harder. Maybe do a wrap on it or something like that. I don't know. What's your thoughts, guys? Give me some thoughts in the comments. Obviously, what we'll need to do if we do that is we'll need to find a donor car for that as a project car. So maybe you might know a car that's that's up for sale nice and cheap, or someone has had enough of a car and they're happy to donate it to the channel. Wouldn't that be amazing if someone wants to donate their old TT? I don't want it anymore, take it away and do something with it, then absolutely, we will absolutely do that as well. Yeah, Claire's put, yes, my car. Oh, there you go. So just have a look through the comments. Can the Haldex controller be changed without dropping the diff? I don't believe so, Steve. I think you actually have to take the diff off with it, I think, to change it. Mark might know more than that. Royal steering wheels, yeah, and it was at Royal steering wheels. Mark 2 is 2-stage airbag, so needs rewiring. There you go. So it's a lot of work, isn't it? It depends how far you want to go with these cars. All TT steering wheels are interchangeable with a wiring modification. I have a Mark 3 steering wheel on the red 500 QS I sold to Andrew at TT Spares. Wicked. So you can do it. Great. Thanks, Andy and Mark, for that. No worries, Richard. Always good to help. Mark, I'll donate you a car to the channel, mate. No bother at all. Wicked. That would be amazing, Mark. Let's see what we can come up with. Don't do me a shunter though. Claire, we'll have to talk about that, Mark. That'd be very kind of you if you did that. Maybe we'll talk about that at some point. Be amazing, wouldn't it, if we had a Mark Stanley featured car here on the channel that we could do. Maybe we could get it to a track car and enter it in the events that Lee Clue goes into, and we'll take him on and see who wins. Wouldn't be me because I'm no good at racing cars, but yeah, anyway, or we could maybe donate it to Lee when we finish and he could use it as a car. Who knows? We could do all sorts of things, couldn't we? Mark 1 and Mark 3 are single stage airbags, so the same. Oh, that's interesting. Didn't know that. But what I've got on the floor, look what I've got here. I have got a turbo here off the breaker, and it's actually not in bad condition. I've had a feel of the impellers as such, the turbine and the compressor. They feel all right. There's not really any movement on it. You can see down there. You can see down there. There's no movement on it, so it all seems pretty cool. So I thought we'd talk a little bit about that tonight as well, and how that works essentially. For those that don't know, what your turbo is doing on your car. So I'm going to turn it around like that. So essentially, if you can think about the turbo, what is the turbo doing? I'll just put it around the back there so I can put the turbo down on the bench like that. And then what I do, I'll put that down like that, and then we can talk about it. So there's the turbo. Let me put it up a little bit because I don't want to do my back in. So there we go. There's the turbo. And the principle behind this is obviously a turbo is it takes the exhaust gases that are generated by your car to spin up a turbine right here. So the exhaust gases are going through there, spinning that little turbine up. Can you see that little turbine down there? Spinning that up, and that's connected on a steel shaft down to the compressor down there on the same side. So there's two like little propellers, if you can imagine. And then what that's doing is the exhaust side one is spinning up that turbine right there to actually compress the air that's coming in. So the air gets compressed down and is sent off then down the charge pipe to your intercoolers to be cooled down, because obviously compressed air is hot. It's going to be hot anyway because it's going through past the engine. The engine bay is going to warm it up, but compressing air will heat the air. It gets cooled down through the intercoolers, and then of course it gets put into the combustion cycle for using it in combustion. But of course the turbine, or the turbo as such itself, the reason you get turbo lag is because the gases that are driving the turbine need exhaust gases to go through it first. So you've got to almost get exhaust gases to get that little spooled up, as they call it, spool up the turbine to get the compressor going, to actually get the compressor working and putting air through. That's why you get turbo lag. You put your foot down, it's not instant because you've got to get the exhaust gases driving that turbine. All great. So that's why on this car, on the 225, this is the KO4 turbo. It's a bigger turbo than on the 180. That's the KO3 turbo on the 180. Now the KO3 turbo, the smaller turbo, it spools up much quicker, but it lacks that top end oomph. It doesn't have as much air to push through it. So off the mark, the 180 will probably be quicker, I'd have thought, or not far off the same speed. I think they are actually quicker. They spool up much quicker. So it's probably an off the mark much better. But of course, what happens here is you've also got this little bit here. See this bit here? There's like a little tube there, and you've got this little contraption here. Now, this is the wastegate and the wastegate actuator. And what that's doing, the wastegate is getting rid of that excess pressure, essentially, from the that builds up when you ask for it, when you take your foot off the accelerator, and any overpressure you get as well for the turbo doing too much. So it's like a safety mechanism as well on the car to do that. So the wastegate is to dump that extra turbo power out of the system. Now that has got that actuator there. There's like a little rod that goes backwards and forwards. They get quite rusty and all seize up, and then your wastegate actuator is not working. Of course, if your wastegate actuator is not working and not getting rid of that extra pressure, what is going to happen is your turbo is going to be getting that pressure through it as well, and that's going to cause it problems. So that's one thing, is keep an eye on that. If you're finding you're getting problems with your turbo, worth changing those out at times, I think. Again, this is obviously down here, this is your compressor blades. Now that should feel nice and tight and no movement in there, no side to side, but it's worth checking that as well, because of course, if you have got any play or movement in that, it's probably not going to be working as efficiently either. So if that's gone, that's normally your turbo gun needs to be replaced. What have we got? I think Ben has modified a Mark II steering wheel for using his 3.2 with DSG. Amazing. That's a really cool, cool little thing to do. We've got the RJ77666 is doing the, must be a Star Trek fan. MCLDSN, I've bought a 2002 TT Roadster with hardtop recently, nice, and the battery drained to 8.33 volts overnight. I charged it and the car drove really well, but now it's back to 8 volts. Bad battery or a drain. Best thing for you to do, buddy, is when the car is running, I mean, running at 8 volts is low, but if you can get the car running, is access the secret menu using the secret menu controls on the air conditioning controls, where you press the 2 buttons and you can get access to the secret control menu, flick through the settings. I think it's the 20C is the one you want. So flick through the settings till you get to 20 on the dash, press the recirculate button again, and that will give you your voltage reading. It's either 20 or 26. I can't remember which one, but that will give you your voltage reading. When the car's running, it should be running at about 14 volts. 12 volt battery, I know, but it should be running at about 14 volts when the alternator is working. Now, if your car is still got 8 volts there and it's not charging, then it's probably going to be your alternator that's at fault. If you're getting 14 volts at the system and your battery is still dead and draining, it's going to be battery or a drain. But that's a good way to work out if it's your alternator or not, is test the alternator by getting that secret menu up. I think it's 26C or 20C you get on the secret menu, and that will tell you if your alternator is working or not. I just itched my face and I've now got a real itchy tash from all the oil and stuff I've got on my hands from touching that turbo. But yeah, so that's a really good way of telling if you've got a battery drain. I'd definitely give that a check. Vanessa says it was the wastegate that went on Tabitha. It caused it to keep going to limp mode due to overpressure. That's exactly what the wastegate's doing. So essentially, the wastegate there, it could be the actuator or the wastegate there. This all goes kaput, and then that's what will be causing the problem, because of course the system's overpressuring and it goes put in limp mode to stop it doing any damage to the turbo. The good thing is, Vanessa, hopefully you didn't damage your turbo, just knock my mouse on the floor. My car has 217,000 miles on the clock, to my knowledge, still on the original turbo. That's good going. It's, you know, these cars will, if you look after them, they will go on. They will carry on working and delivering all the things you need. But guys, if you're enjoying what you're watching, you're enjoying the content, you enjoy me rabbiting on about Mark 1s tonight, then definitely make sure you give it a thumbs up. I notice there's quite a few of you on now, but if you can give it a thumbs up, it helps share gets YouTube's algorithm working and gets this content out to more people so we can share it with more people. Always helps the channel, helps me. It's free to do. You've only got to press the button and give me a thumbs up. That's all great. And of course, if you enjoy what you're watching, you want to support me, You can become a channel member. There's an option to join as a channel member down at the bottom of the screen. Or, of course, you can also donate super thanks to me and buy me a coffee. There's a little dollar sign at the bottom of the screen. If you want to buy me a coffee to help me out, then that's most appreciated as well. All donations go back into the channel in keeping me in coffee and car parts. But yeah, it all goes back to keeping the channel up and running and yeah, keep me doing what I'm doing for you all on a Monday night. Can you believe it's week 29 this week? Mad, isn't it? This is 29th week of the year that we've been doing the TT show. I see a few of you have now given you a thumbs up. Appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much. You're a man after my own heart. Kenneth, what's Kenneth said? Yes, my turbo has 150,000 miles and still good. That's good. I bought a new KO423 for no reason. Always good to have a spare though, Kenneth, I think, on the shelf, as I will attest to, because I think this turbo is actually all right, you know. Of course, one of the challenges you have with these turbos, if I turn it around that way, is the dreaded turbo bolts. You might hear about people talking about the turbo bolts. These 3 holes here have a stud that goes on the back there that keeps the manifold in place. And they tend to lock up. They tend to wet. They're an absolute nightmare to get off, or can be. It does really cause a problem. What have we got? Steve joined last week. Appreciate that, Steve. Thank you as a new member. You will notice for members, obviously, one of the things I do is I put your names in the video. So you will see your names in lights in the video when a new video comes out. Unfortunately, the French video was an absolute nightmare to render down. It took me so long to get it done because it kept failing during the render, as it's called. So the actual producing it for going live. And it's because it's such a big, high quality video. My laptop wouldn't cope with it. So what I had to do, I had to take a few things off. And one of the things that take off, unfortunately, that takes up the resource is putting your names on it. So apologise for that. But your names are all in the Spats video that's coming out tomorrow night. So if you all remember, you will see your name in lights in the Spats video tomorrow night. And of course, hopefully, members, you are all getting some good use out of my little TT update videos that I do exclusively for members, where you find out what's going on here at the channel, a bit of behind the scenes stuff. I think that's people, the footage I'm getting is footage. The feedback I'm getting is you guys are enjoying it. So that's good. And of course, we've got some really good membership benefits now. So Mark Stanley kindly has offered to do free delivery on parts for anyone that's an Andycharger member. So that's an absolute standard delivery, that is, by the way. He's giving free standard deliveries for anyone that's an Andycharger member. That's worth joining up just to get that perk. But also, if you want to get a £200 discount off a detail, Steve Craddock is doing his own detailing business now. Does a fantastic job. If you know Steve's cars and see how good they are, Steve is giving members a £200 discount off his full valet service. What more could you want? And some of the things that we've got going on are amazing. And you also get a discount on Andycharger merchandise, of course, as well. Excuse me, cough me. And of course, if you are interested in picking up an Andycharger t-shirt, you can get yourself over to sellshirts.com/marketplace/Andycharger, and you can find a range of I've got a set of like World Cup Quattrophenia t-shirts, which is pretty cool in different colors. Got the normal Andycharger t-shirt with the logo on the back as well. So if you're interested in one of those, you know what to do. But as always, thanks as always to you all for all the support you give me. Our standard delivery is DHL 24-hour. Wow, that is amazing. 24-hour delivery on all parts. Standard delivery as Andycharger members. What more could you want, guys? What have we got there? You're a man after, yeah, George, yeah. And amazing if Andy, well over halfway. Yeah, my goal is to do a year of these lives. That's what I'm doing. So I'm in week 29. I'm not going to miss one. I'm determined to do one every single Monday for you guys, even if I've got myself watching myself in the end. But I think that we're definitely getting a good turnout of members and non-members, non-subscribers and subscribers. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, it's free to do so. Make sure you subscribe if you're watching me for the first time tonight. It's always good to have you guys along. The secondary coolant pump helps with turbo longevity. Absolutely does, because it obviously it helps take some of that heat out of the cycle once the engine's off at the end. So that's always good. Mrs. Jugs, thank you, Andy. Mark sorted me out an inlet manifold. Brilliant. Love that. That's what this is all about. It's all about putting you guys in touch with the people that you need to be put in touch with. That's it's turned into a really great community the Monday night. And of course, don't forget, you've also got Tuesday night with Bryn as well, so don't forget to get along for that as well. Thank you so much, Vanessa, though, for your donations. Very kind of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're a massive support of the channel, and I thank you for all you and Lee do to get the channel out there for other people to watch as well. So I really appreciate all you do. Richard George, how are you tonight, sir? I see you're joining on. Need to get you back in the garage at some point and we can go over your car and see what you've been up to. What else have we got on the chat? Yeah, a good check to do is listen for that pump. Yeah, absolutely. If you can't hear that pump, the run-on pump. And the good thing about that is, interestingly, the car doesn't have to be up to any temperature to get that pump to work. I'm going to show you now. So the car is just sitting here quite happily, right? If I just go and turn the engine over and turn it off, that secondary air pump will come on. You'll hear it squeal. So let's do that now to make sure mine works. Okay. I'm just going to turn the engine over, start the engine up. There you go. Now, what you should be able to hear, if I take my mic off for a moment, can you hear that running? Hopefully you can, because that's the secondary, that's the cooling pump that's going on, keeping it all cool. Because the principle being, when you turn the engine off, obviously the turbo's got a lot of heat going through it, so that coolant pump is still running stuff through it to try and keep the whole cycle down after the engine runs. So like an overrun pump, after run pump, I think your class has. So that's the sound that you would hear if you have got a working secondary air pump. So there you go. Apologies, mate. New work has meant last few Mondays have been late ones. No worries. That's great to hear you're working again, Rich. That's a really good thing to hear. I'm glad things have worked out for you. Excellent news. So we've talked about so much tonight already. We've done a demo of the injectors. That was pretty cool, wasn't it? We talked about the fuel rail and the injectors themselves and how you take them off. There, we've got that there as well. We talked about my friend that had the problem with the oil piston rings as well, and the blue-black smoke or the blue-grey smoke. We talked about that. We've talked about the turbo and how that works and what that goes through. So if you've got anything you want me to talk about tonight, guys, anything on the channel, anything on the car that I've not covered off, then let me know and we'll cover it off. I still like to idle after hard use, but it's not needed for gentle drives. Yeah, well, that was a real gentle engine start that I turned it on and turned it off, and you can probably hear it's still running now. Let me know in the comments if you can hear the engine running, hear the pump running. Great beard, thank you, Neil. That's it's taken a lot of growing. It's not quite as glamorous and large as Mr. Don Parrott's beard that we know that you know and love so well from the Parrott Bros. He's got a huge beard, still got a massive beard, although he's not doing TT content anymore, but he's still got his beard, which is great to see. So I've got a long way to go before I get to that level. In fact, there's the video I made yesterday, I made with my brother, where he did the review of the dash cam for his Mini, and apparently we look quite similar as well, although he was wearing white glasses in the video. You might see him in the video when it comes out. I'm going to edit that down tonight once I've finished on the live. So you might see my brother on the video. Tell me if you think we look alike. In fact, there'll be a picture of him and me, I think, on my YouTube post from yesterday. So there you go. You might be able to spot him. I can't hear. Okay, you can't hear that. Can't hear that, no? It's like a vibrating noise, like a pump running. If you can't hear that. But that's what it should sound like anyway. So I'm sorry you can't hear that, but it's still running now. I mean, I only turned the engine over and it's been 5 minutes, I think, since we did that. Lee always lets the engine run for 5 minutes before he turns Tabitha off to let engine and turbo cool down. Yeah, that's always a good plan. Halloween or Andy, how are you doing, Halloween? How you doing, buddy? Normally chat to you over on TikTok as well, don't I? So good to have you along this evening. And guys, don't forget, if you are on TikTok as well, definitely check out TikTok as well. Got some really good things on there for cars, some really good automotive things for cars that you can get out of the store. Over things like dash cams, jump starter packs, all those sort of things. I've got them all in the store. Definitely check them out. It's all good stuff. I only put good stuff on there as well. If I get something that's not very good, and when I say that, I'm going to grab something that's not very good just to show you, because I've got them sitting right here. LED light bulbs for your car. People get told to fit these LED bulbs into the Mark 1 and they'll just work. Well, I can tell you that I've tried this set of bulbs from Auxito on at least 4 cars and they don't work. Okay. So it's something to do with the ballasts on the car. Some cars will take it, some won't. There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason on it. I thought maybe the older cars have the ballast mounted on the actual car themselves. The newer headlights have the ballast built into them. Doesn't seem to make a difference between those two. There's a guy in the US that got them working, and there's a guy in the UK that's also got them working as well now. But most people will say you can't get these to work. So Auxito bulbs, I would not buy them for the Mark 1 because they don't work. But as I said, I'll always be honest with what I find with stuff, and I'll always tell you guys. Who have we got on there? Nando. Hello, Andy and all. Good to have you along, Nando, tonight. Hope you're well. They don't. Steve, is that Steve? So they don't work. They don't work, Steve. They're a waste of money, I think. There's no point buying them to only find out your car is one of the cars it won't work on. But I think they need quite a bit of oomph, these LED bulbs, to get themselves to keep them on. Because what they do is they initially come on and then they initially go off again, and that's it. They don't come back on. Turbo Sim's taking the turkey out of the oven, gets internally hotter. Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that, Kenneth. That's a good analogy. Good analogy for the cars. But do you know, I put on this car when I went to France, I did put a set of, it's got a set of Ronald 9 spokes on it. I've got a set of Ronald 9 spokes on the floor as well in the garage right here, because when we went to France, we put a new set of wheels on it because I had a tyre that was letting a bit of pressure in now. I didn't want to take a leaking tyre with me to France. So I took a set of the Ronalds that came on the 3.2. I don't think they're the correct wheels for the 3.2. The correct wheels are the 7 spokes, in my opinion. That's the one you recognise on the 3.2. But they do also come from the factory with those 9 spokes on. It was a bit of a, not a dealer choice, but it was your option out. There's 2 wheels. So those wheels from the 3.2 that came with are on the Roadster now, because they've got a set of brand new Hankook tyres on it, and they drove lovely when we were away. They really did. So I've got a set of 9 spokes that are in the garage at the moment, ready to be. I don't know, probably have another refurb on them because they've got a few knocks on it. In fact, the wheels on the Roadster have got a real, really knocked about. So even though they were on that 3.2, nice new tyres, the wheel condition's pretty poor. So I think it's definitely worth to make that its absolute best. I do want to take my car and see Mr. Paul Cliff at some point, see if we can do some work on the paintwork. It does need a bit of work doing to it, I think. As you know, I had some work done on it last year. I'm not overly impressed with the finish on it, if I'm perfectly honest now. It was okay, but it's still not perfect. So I might take it there and get it absolutely spot on. Mr. Craddock is obviously going to be doing a detail on it at some point as well for the business, so we can get some footage of that. So I'm looking forward to doing that as well for the car. Hankook are a good brand, very underrated. Yeah, absolutely. Everyone swears by the Michelin Pilot Sport 4s. That seems to be the tyres to go to for the TT. However, they are getting hard to get hold of, I understand, the Michelin Pilot Sport 4s. Pilot Sport 5s you can still get, but the 4s are getting difficult to get hold of. So I think it's worth having a look around what your options are. And the Hankooks drove brilliantly when we were away. So yeah, I highly recommend those as well. But what are your thoughts on tyres, guys? What are you using on your car? Let me know in the comments. Pass your knowledge on to other people in this chat. See what everyone wants to use as the tyre of choice. It'd be interesting to find out. I've just realised, good job I've been using the comments on the other screen, because they were right out of dated on my little phone. But guys, yeah, chuck me a comment right now if you want me to talk about anything in particular on the car, anything you want to look at on here that we can talk about, that you might have some questions over. I am going to do a change of the coolant bottle on this car because it's looking quite old and tired. Whenever I see a car that's got a new coolant bottle, it always makes it look really nice. So that might be a little a little little fix we can do. Pilot Sport 4s are mine. Nice, Mr. GMT1. Good to have you along, buddy. I hope life is treating you well in Australia tonight. Richard George put Pirelli P0s came on mine and Michelin's beat them hands down. Interesting. YBR Matt said hi. Hello, sir. How are you? Good to have you along as well. Got quite a lot of new faces along tonight, actually. People I recognise and know, but joining on for the first time. I've got quite a few. Thank you, Mr. GMT1. Thank you for your donation. Very kind as always. Always a kind support to the channel. So I really appreciate you buying me a cup of tea there. Is it a cup of coffee or a cup of tea popping up on the screen? I prefer tea to coffee, but I'll take a tea or a coffee. I don't mind. Steve said, I have a lovely big hole in my wing. Next job is to look at bodywork. We'd love to share some pics with some of the work I've been doing over the last few months. Definitely, Steve. Definitely share some pictures. Get those pictures. I've noticed something that's not used enough on my channel is you guys can post pictures of your cars up in the community. So if you go to my community page, you can post pictures up. Why don't I say that everyone that's watching tonight, why don't you go and post a picture of your car up on the community page? Let's do a rate my motor page. Let's see who can put their pictures up on the community page, and maybe that can be the competition for next week. So that will be the competition. Let's get everyone to post a picture of their car up, and the car that gets the most votes will be a competition winner next week. I'll think of a prize for next week. What have we got there? Andy Moore, I've had Pirelli Power G on mine. Always been a great tyre and less than £100 higher. That's the important thing, is that you've got to you've got to weigh up what you're prepared to pay for a tyre to the performance it gives you. I think that's quite key as well. Pilot Sport 5s, yeah, cars, but the car has just stopped making a noise. So it has only just turned off that secondary air pump, guys, believe it or not. It's going to turn, I just realised I haven't put that feature on as well, so it can follow me around when we're talking. What else have we got? Claire's put, this may sound stupid, but all the buttons have suddenly gone white on my car CD radio. Why? When you say they've gone white, has all the pattern come off them, Claire? All the ink come off them? All the actual button coating, has that come off? I have posted. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate that. We use Uniroyal Range Sport 5s. It says Vanessa and Lee. Brilliant. We've got a real mix of tyres there, haven't we? Everyone's got their own preference. Different price points. So the 3.2 tyres, it's got Turanzas on it, actually. So Bridgestone Turanzas, which, yeah, they're okay. They're okay, but they're not brilliant tyres. I said, but they were cheap, and I bought brand new tyres for it. If I look back in hindsight, I wish I'd paid a bit more and maybe bought myself a set of Pilot Sports now, if I'm perfectly honest. But we live and learn, don't we? So Kenneth has said, I cancelled out the rear toe and it helped the car rotate into corners. Interesting. Have you got a set of adjustable arms then, Kenneth, on the car, perhaps? I reckon you might have. But yeah, let me know in the comments, guys, if what your thoughts are. We're getting some good. Yeah, but what can I do? I think you can actually get a set of like stickers, that you can buy a set of stickers for the stereo. Excuse me, to cover up the buttons. I think to replace the buttons, like almost like a transfer that goes onto them. It will stop them looking a mess, but obviously it won't put them back to factory. But I suppose anything you can do is replace the radio or look at those stickers. I think they're on eBay, Claire. I think you can buy a set of Mark 1 radio button stickers on eBay. Check them out. Definitely worth doing. And of course, bits for the car. I think what we might do next week is I have a set. If I grab them, I'm going to grab them right here. Right here, I have a set of headlight bracket repair kits. This is what they are, okay? So I got these from James Still. James supplied me these very kindly. And these allow me to repair my headlights. And Richard George, if you're still on, Richard, you were the one that sort of introduced me to this kit that would allow me to fix a headlight. So I've got a headlight here on the floor. I think it's broken. I think this one is broken. So here's your Mark 1 headlight. And on the top, it has these brackets. You see there's a bracket there for holding it on. And it should also have another one. I'll show you just here. You can see that. You can see one's broken off. Oh, and there we go. So what this needs this attaching back on. Now, this is a repair kit, and this saves you having to throw a headlight away just because the bracket is broken. So oh, there we go. Oh, no, don't you need to go all the way around. There we go. So these brackets, you can buy this repair kit from our Audi online for about 90 quid. Well, that's a lot of money, whereas these are 3D printed, these ones. So James will supply these much cheaper price, 3D printed, and you can actually repair it yourself. So maybe we'll do that live next week on the channel so I can show you how we can fix the headlight as part of the repair. So we'll do that next week as part of the video, part of the live, okay? Stickers don't look great for the price. They are all, it's either better to get another one or two or upgrade. Yeah, I suppose it's depending if people want that OEM look for it, I guess, doesn't it? That's what they need to work out. Mr. GMT, just posted my TT on your community page. Good luck, everyone. Yeah, absolutely. Let's all get our TTs posted on the community page and get people voting. And I'll put a post up and tell people to vote for their favourite car, yeah? We'll see what we can come up with. So what we'll do, I'll run it for 2 weeks. So tonight can be the first night. A bit of thinking on my feet, but we're going to start it tonight and we'll run it for 2 weeks. So it will end 2 weeks tonight. And then we'll announce the winner live on the show. So you've got an advantage by watching this live now that you can go and post your picture of your car up before I get the post out telling people to post their picture of their car up. So there you go. You've got a little bit of advantage. Get it up quick and I will make sure I cover that off on the channel. How do you find the community page, Andy? Just go to my, obviously don't do it now because obviously you're watching me. But if you go to my channel homepage, you click on the community tab, it should be there. It should be easy enough to find. It's one of the options. Of course, mine's up, although everyone knows it, and I know yours posted. Yeah, Dave, people are sticking it up, so it must be quite easy on the homepage. But of course, don't all leave, guys. Stay and watch me for a bit, as it's more fun to watch me than posting pictures of your car. But interesting to know, those of you that went to Simply Audi on Saturday, what was your favourite car on display? Tell me in the comments what you thought was the best car of the day. There were some really nice cars there, I noticed, a lot of good Mark 1s. And also let me know, for those of you that went to Audi's in the park yesterday, which was your favourite TT you saw there as well. Be interested to see what people's thoughts were on the cars, and also what your thoughts of the event were. You know, what you went to, that Audi's in the park event yesterday, if you thought it was a good event. I don't know if was it similar to the Vorsprung show and it was run by the same guy, or was it a better event? I don't know. Let me know, guys. Let me know what you think. A lot of people saying they've posted their cars up, which is great to see. So I think that's a really, really good thing. If we can get pictures of each other's cars up, start voting for them. And of course, guys, if you want your car to feature as the cover art here on the channel, I'll get another perk for members. Members, if you want your car to feature as the thumbnail for Andycharger Live on a Monday night, please send me a picture of your car and I will feature your car. It's got to be high quality, high res picture, guys. So if it's like being shot on a potato, I can't use it. So make sure you send me a high res picture of your car and I'll happy to use it. So that's open to members. So members, if you want your car shared, and of course, members, if you want to bring your cars down here and share your car live on an Andycharger on a Monday night, I'm happy to talk about your cars live here. If you can feature you on the show and be part of the show as well. So if you want to do that, then let's do that. Howard's Way, how you doing, Howard? Just signed up for membership. Sorry, it's been long overdue. Keep the content coming. Thank you, Howard. Massively appreciate you becoming a member this evening. Thank you so much for that. Claire Burke, I like the one with the white wheels. Nice. Went to Simply Audi. Todd did his first YouTube video. Brilliant. Send me the link to that, please, Howard, and I'll give it a watch and give it a little like and a repost as well, so we can get some people watching Todd's content. We need to get you and Todd down here one weekend as well to do we'll do a TT shoot in the garden. We can do a little interview maybe. That'd be good fun, I think. Steve said, has anyone in the group got the Gravity 2 exhaust system fitted? I guess that's a question for everyone here tonight. Have you got the Gravity system fitted to your car? That's one thing, is exhaust is one of those things that I do wonder how much it does for the performance-wise, does for the car, because people say it improves the car, but surely the power side of it is all pre-exhaust. It's more sound, is it not, exhaust rather than performance? But let me know what you think. I know it probably lets air breathe, flow much easier, but surely once the air is at that point, it's out the back, isn't it? So I don't know. Let me know. Exhaust are one of those things that they can get a droning exhaust. Must be a nightmare to live with in the car. I think it would get boring very quickly. You get a lot of people that put performance exhausts on their cars and they have it on for a couple of weeks and then they sell it. And they always post up saying, oh, I'm selling my car, my exhaust. And you think, yeah, the reason you're selling your exhaust is it's probably driving you up the wall in the driver's seat as it's droning on. So, yeah, that's just my thoughts on exhaust. Not one I've really been bothered about changing, I have to say. Yes, I've got one on my 225 and it sounds great. Oh, Andy Mortimer's got one. The drone doesn't drive up the wall then, Andy. Bigger downpipe gets the hot air quicker, but requires a tune to get real value from it. There you go, Richard. Thank you, Richard, for that update on that. Yes, my gravity system does. Interesting. So maybe I'm wrong then. Maybe, well, I am wrong, I guess. Maybe it does give you an option to get more power. But obviously people, I think exhaust note is either you like it or you hate it, I guess, isn't it? And the 3.2 sounds amazing anyway with any exhaust, doesn't it? My gravity system drones. Oh, okay, so it does drone then. Found the page, Andy, posted my thought. Cheers. No worries, Dave. Good to have you along and posting up your cars. Glad you found it. Spoke to a guy yesterday who had a Scorpion in his QS. Gave him about 78 brake horsepower. A lot of money for 78 horsepower. Yeah, absolutely. It's oh, sorry, not 78 horsepower. 7 brake horsepower, that is, isn't it? Sorry, it's my sorry. Yeah, 7 brake on a car that's got 240 standard. You go from 240 to 247. Are you really going to notice that? I don't know. Not much of a uptick in performance, is it? I think if you on a lot of these tuning packages with a tune, front mount intercooler, an intake kit, a bigger tip, you can, maybe bigger injectors. You can start boosting the car from 225 up to 260, 270 quite easily for not a huge investment. However, that is quite a big increase, isn't it? Sort of 50 to 60 horsepower is massive, but 7 horsepower, that's not really going to be that noticeable, I don't think. It's more about air efficiency, Andy, similar to intake, having less restrictions such as baffless charge pipes, etc. Yeah, do you know, I did a video on a charge pipe and about the baffles in it and being debaffled. And I asked the question on TikTok and said, does it make a difference? Does it make the airflow? Does it affect it that much? And it's quite a difference of opinion, actually. Some people said, yeah, what a big difference. And some people were saying, no, not really. So, yeah, all a bit, I guess you debaffle, restriction of the air. How much of a brake horsepower is that going to help? Is that getting the air, I guess it's more of a smooth power, is it maybe, than more power? I don't know. That might be the answer. Tabitha is standard. Billet Badger went from 232 to 271, but that's more than enough for us. Wow. So is that just the tune, Vanessa? Was that? I guess it might be, Richard. But the engine needs to know what the vanges have been made to get their value. Hence the remap. Yeah, I think the remap seems to be the important bit, doesn't it? But yeah. So what I'm thinking about doing is obviously the trip we've got next year is I'd like to. I was speaking to my brother yesterday, and I would like my brother to come on the trip next year. And I said, why don't you buy a TT? And he said, oh, I'd like a red one. I said, what, a soft top? Yeah, he wants a soft top, a red soft top. So I'm like, right. So if anyone knows of a cheap red soft top, so Mark Stanley, if you're out there, if you've got a cheap Mark 1 red soft top that's knocking around, let me know. And it doesn't matter what colour red it is, he just said a red soft top. So that might be the car to restore and get back on the road and maybe take to the journey next year and get my brother to drive it. And that'd be pretty cool actually if we could do that. I'll ask Mark, see if Mark comes up with one like that. Why do they call it horsepower? I think it's what it's measured in, Claire. I think that was, that horsepower was a measured amount of force, let's call it. And I think that was, when cars were first being measured, they were being measured, I guess, against horses, weren't they? Because that was how many horses power, power engines, I think, rather than cars, maybe. How, it's probably back to farm machinery, would it be? I don't know the answer to it, but maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're measuring how many horses you need to power on your farm to do a particular job against how much engine power could be produced by that to equivalent of that horse. What do you think about the 11,000 mile 180 up for sale collecting cars with no reserve? Dave Westrup. Super low mile cars, which that's low miles, but it's not super low miles, but it's pretty low miles for the age of the vehicle. I still think they need to have been driven a fair amount, or things will start to perish and fail. These cars are not immune to perished and failed components, and cars can sit around idle and it can cause more damage. So, you probably find a car that's done a few miles is actually better than a car that's done no miles at this sort of age. That really low mile car that did it have like 14 miles or 17 miles or something on it? That was the car that was up for 65 grand originally. That hasn't really been driven, is it? And things are going to start seizing up on it. So I don't know. I don't think I'm a massive fan of super low mile cars. Todd is really looking forward to Quattrofinio and hoping for sun. Yeah, by the way, how can I contact Mark Stanley? Is waiting for his website to go live via eBay or on eBay. Howard, drop me an email if Mark's not still on. But you can drop me an email. I'll give you Mark's details. Do you know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to get you Mark's email address. That's what I'm going to do right now. And I'm going to read Mark's email because he won't mind me doing that, will he? So let me just go to Mark. Just going to scroll back, go to his business card, and then I can tell you his details. Gonna have to go back a long way though, because Mark and I got a lot of messages on Facebook. I can see voice notes. There we go. So Mark's email address is OEMTT parts, all one word, OEMTT parts @gmail.com. Okay, so if you drop him an email at just read that back, OEMTT parts @gmail.com. Okay, so contact Mark and he will get in touch with you. Yeah, only issue with red cars is the lacquer peel. We know that, absolutely, that is a killer. There's a video on my channel all about lacquer peel. It does look in good condition, but not driven for about 10 years. Yeah, so they've been sitting around a long time. We know that they do start causing problems, don't they? That's the trouble. How can I message you directly? Steve, you can email me. You can get in touch with me at Andy_Charger@hotmail.com via email. That's how you can get in touch with me. And yeah, Richard put, thankfully only on the earlier ones. Yeah, I think all those TTs, they got red paint. If they got oxides in the paint, they obviously react and cause oxidation under the paintwork and cause that lacquer to lift as well, which is not great. Oxides in paint, who'd have thought? But yeah, that's the one problem. The TTs definitely struggle more than most cars though. Well, not just only TTs. Audis, older Audis struggle. The red Audi struggle more than most other brands, I find. But it's definitely always red cars because of the oxides. But yeah, guys, chuck me your comments in the chat, and I will see if I can answer them off. We've been live for 1 hour and 40 minutes now. I'm going to do 2 hours tonight, and then I'll knock it on the head, I think, tonight, because I've got to get videos done, haven't I? So otherwise you'll have no content. Although you have got a video coming tomorrow night on the spats. I definitely recommend watching the spats video tomorrow night. So if you're after a set of spats, Paul Cliff is selling them painted in the colour of your choice for £80. But Paul has kindly offered to raffle a set in the colour of your choice off on the channel. So we are going to run a competition on that shortly as well. They're £80, those spats. So that's a really worthwhile competition entry, isn't it, to get that done. I've got a 2005 red Roadster and lacquer pin in a bit. Yeah, that's we know that it affects a lot of people. I always thought your car looks in great condition, though, Howard. To be perfectly honest, so but I didn't realise you were suffering with lacquer peel. But we know it affects all of them, doesn't it? And what else was I going to cover off on the Roadster tonight? Oh, I was talking last week, wasn't I, about jump starting the TT or getting the power to the back of the car from the under the bonnet. So as we know, the 3.2 battery is in the boot and you can't get to the boot, you can't open the boot. And if you saw my short, where what I did was I actually accessed under the battery. So there's a little fuse box on top of the battery. And what I did was I ran power from the battery charger, supplying 12-volt supply. So you can get the battery charger to just do a continuous supply like it's got a 12-volt onto the positive, clip the other cable onto the bodywork, and it had enough power to the system by connecting the third fuse across on the fuse box to allow me to click the button and open the boot. So hey presto, it got it all working. So that was a good way out. So I now have that. I think I am going to fit a jump to that battery on a cable under the back, under the wheel arch at the back. And then I'm going to use that for jumping or opening the boot if I run out of battery, because that is a bit of a problem on the 3.2. What have we got there? Just the rear brake light and mirror. Is your homepage, Stephen Childers, is your homepage on Facebook or YouTube? My homepage, Stephen, is here on YouTube. You can just go to youtube.com/@Andycharger. You'll find my homepage. It has all my contact details. It has all the information about my t-shirt merch store, has all the information about my TikTok channel. It has information about everything and about all the how-to videos, event videos, history of the car, and everything else that we chuck on the channel about these amazing cars. So you'll find all the information that you need on my main page there. So yeah, so I just want to say thanks to all the members actually, because there's quite a lot of you on. So there's been a couple of people that have joined tonight. Howard, massive thank you for you joining as well tonight. So great to have all the new members along. So there are some great perks for being a member, as we talked about. There is the £200 discount off any off a full detail by Steve Craddock with his detailing business. So that's definitely worth having. Mark Stanley is offering free delivery, free standard delivery to any Andycharger member. How fantastic is that? So that's definitely worth its weight in gold for some of you that are looking for parts just by buying a membership here on the channel. You can also access discounts on the merch as well. And you'll also see your name featured in lights in the video when you pop up in my videos, thanking all the members for being part of it. And that's my little way for thanking you for all the support you do. Appreciate all the support you guys give me as membership subscriptions, super thanks. I really do appreciate that, and I can't thank you enough for all you do to keep me doing what I do. Again, it's week 29 this week, believe it or not, of doing this every week. The year has flown by. So if for those of you who've watched from the start of the year, we're going to go through winter, spring, summer, autumn, and back into winter again. How mad has that been? And of course, I will carry it on to next year. I think it's been popular. It's proven really good. People are enjoying it. Did I miss the Springfest video? Steve Chesson, no, you haven't. That's still in the camera, waiting to be edited down. I just haven't had time to do it. But I am going to do it. I am going to get that video out before it turns winter time. Otherwise, people will forget about it. Yes, an inlet manifold delivered free. I'm happy. Absolutely, Vanessa. You do an awful lot for the channel as well. So I massively appreciate all you and Lee do. Yeah. So my premium members of the channel that do above and beyond. So thank you so much. Of course, one of the things we are doing on the channel is that we are going to get us. I like the floorboards on your roof. Oh, these. No, they are. I think a lot of it is actually, as it looks down, it's actually cladding that I've used. And the reason it's painted white is it was to give more light in here when I'm filming. That's the only reason. So for those of you that haven't been here, what you see down here when I'm working is the view you normally see when I'm doing videos. If you look down the other end, it's like an absolute tip. It's probably twice the length of what you can see here, but it's an absolute tip. I am going to convert it into an office / studio so that I can film for you guys in a nice soundproof studio, make some really good quality videos. I've got some big ideas coming for the channel for next year. I want to start making a real theatrical release for the TT next year. I'm not sure what I'm going to film it on or base it on, but I'm going to try and make a long play video, like an in-depth video of the TT. Not sure yet. So that's half the reason I want the new camera as well, so I can get you some really good footage. This is great for doing lives. It follows me around, as we know. And again, this is another feature we've brought for the channel to help out with the channel as well. One of these new features, these gimbals. But we're going to do some really good stuff next year, stuff that you're going to enjoy watching. The TT France video was sort of like an introduction to that, so I could get some good camera angles and work out how to do things. And I've got to thank my long-suffering wife for being my camera person when we were away and putting up with me stopping and wanting to film things all the time, and me dragging around Monaco, walking a lap of the track, which she didn't mind doing. But I've got to thank her for a 2-week holiday that she didn't mind filming, so I've got to thank her. But yeah, so I will. So the video for Springfest will be coming. So some of the videos I've got in the can that haven't yet come out, I've got a video about. I'm pointing over there because you've seen me do the spray pattern on the wall. I've got a video coming out on how to test your injectors. I've got a video coming on the spats tomorrow. I've got a video on removing the steering wheel. I've got a video on Springfest. I've got a video on meeting Anthony in Holland that's got the gull wing door car with a massive sound system. I met him when I was in Holland when I was over there, so we filmed with him. Got that coming to the channel. There's just so much more content coming. Obviously, we've got the video on fitting the dash cam for my brother's Mini coming to the channel as well. There's so much stuff going on at the moment that I've just got to get out for you guys and share with you guys. And some of these products that are worth filming that I'm doing, some of them aren't just purely TT, but they benefit the TT and they would fit nicely in the TT. And the good thing is, by working with these brands to get these products, if they are good, part of the reason I'm doing it is I can ask them for a discount. And if you want one, you get a discount as well from the discount code, which is even better. So I always ask that now. When I first started making videos for people and people wanted to send me stuff, I was a little bit naive, let's say, because I thought, well, if they're sending me something for free, I'm getting something for free. But really, what do I get out of it? And what are you guys getting out of it, really? If you're getting me to make a video, firstly, I've always been very honest about my reviews. And I'll only review a product if it's good. So if someone sends me something that's bad, I will say so, or I won't make a video. But if it is good, then I will use that to get something for you guys. And originally, the discounts I was able to get weren't great, but as the channel's grown, it's now allowing me to be a bit more forceful with these people and give us better discounts. So it gives me something I can give back to you guys as well. So if I can get you a decent discount on a jump pack or a dash cam or something like that, I can feed it straight back into you guys. And that's where these items that I get sent, why I'm always happy to pass them on now at cost, because it just, it makes sense that you guys have got it rather than me. I keep getting conflicting info. I have rust spots coming through on the bottom of the doors on my coupe. Some say that's a common issue, some say not. What's your view, Andy? Yeah, I think Richard will say if you get spots of rust coming through, it's particularly on the sills anyway, it's normally rusting from the inside out. So if you're seeing it there, that's not a good sign. On the doors, the only thing I can think of the door would be, it must be, if it's on the edges of the door, it sounds to me like it's either caught on something at some point and rubbed the paint away, maybe, and exposed the paint. It's unusual for you to get rusty doors unless the car's been repainted at some point. I don't think it's a common thing. I have to say, I don't think that's a common problem with cars. I'm not saying, sometimes you get rust spots appearing in the middle of the door where someone's had a stone chip out of it. You get that, but not along the edges, I don't think. That's not really a bottom edge, about the size of a penny. Yeah, so maybe you've had a nasty stone chip in it, or maybe someone's caught the door on a wall, rubbed the paint away, introduced a bit of damp, and then it could have happened that way. Yep, suddenly, as Andy says, bottom of the doors rust if the drain holes in the bottom are blocked. Oh, there you go. Didn't even think about that. So it's actually the drains in the doors that are causing the problem. There you go. Well done, Richard. Always count on Richard to come up with the goods. How long we've been live for? An hour and 55 minutes. Blimey. We'll go to we'll go till 9:30, and then I'll let you all slip off to bed and dream about cars, and I'll go and do the same. Well, I won't. I'm going to go and make videos. Is what I'm going to do to bring you content for the channel. That's the plan. But yeah, we will. But we've got lots of good things to look forward to. In 2 weeks, don't forget, or less than that, 13 days now, we have got the show in Southend. So definitely come along to that one if you're based in the Southeast. Sunday, the 2nd of August, 9:30 start for breakfast. I'm actually going to be there for the morning, and then I'm going to an ice hockey memorial game of all things on Saturday lunchtime. So a guy I know from many years ago is actually a couple of years younger than me. Unfortunately, died a couple of months ago, and out of the blue, and they're holding a memorial game for him. So I'm going to see that. There's a lot of people that I haven't seen for maybe 35 years that are going to be there. So it's going to be quite a moving thing. So I'm going to be going off just before lunchtime. I'm only there for the first couple of hours, and I'm going to be going off to that to see that in Chelmsford. So I'll be leaving the show, but I'll be there from 9:30 till about 11:30, 12ish. So if you are going, you can catch up with me at the show. Claire's I got rust on the door after realigning the door, plus I got rust around the door lock after changing the lock. It's an ongoing battle. I've got rust on my sills, but watch this space. Sills are one of those things. Once the rut's set in there, you really, you're fighting a losing battle on them. Unfortunately, if you've got a set of rusty sills, it's worth picking up a set of other sills and replace them if you can. But yeah, it is a battle, these cars. Don't forget, these cars, a lot of them are, well, they're all over 20 years old now, aren't they? The last ones were built in 2006 up till about April time. So every car is over 20 years old. Some of them are coming up for 30 years old, the really old ones. There's not many original early 1998 cars about. You don't see many of those, actually. So maybe the build quality wasn't as great in the early ones, or they've just been around for longer, maybe. But there's a lot of cars around. The popular years seem to be 2002, 2000. Well, I'd say 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004 are your most common years. Of those, 2003 and 2004 are probably the most popular years. The cars you see around, I think. I'll have to look at TT numbers to confirm that. I have a set currently being restored along with 2 front wings. Nice. The thing with repainting and restoring bodywork is you're not curing it, you're just delaying it, guys. I'd say it's very hard to cure it. So I think you may find it, with all the best will in the world, that you may get that come back in the future at some point. Just being honest and just putting it out there. I've got a pile wing hanging up in my garage right now, which came off the TT. I had a new wing put on that car. It had a few rust spots and had a repair in the past. But yeah, guys, if you're enjoying what you're watching, please do give it a thumbs up as well, so I know you're enjoying it tonight. It's always great to have you all along and listen to me rabbit on about TTs on a Monday night. So I want to thank you all for being along tonight and joining in with the fun. It's been great that the video has lasted and stayed up this week rather than turning off 3 times like I did last week. I was losing the will to live a little bit. I'm going to start looking into now getting this Mac to work in the landscape mode, so we can start doing a widescreen and portrait for you guys as well. Hopefully, once we get this new camera here and purchase, we can get the new camera doing the work, which would be amazing, rather than relying on this old iPhone to give you this footage. Hopefully you still find it interesting and useful, me talking to the camera. You haven't told me to, or you're still all here, guys, so that's the good thing. You haven't all deserted me in droves yet. When I notice those viewer numbers start dropping, that's the time I start rethinking if I should be doing it or not on a Monday. But yeah, what have we got? We've got 21 of you on still at the moment. I'm just coming up for 2 hours, so I'm probably going to wrap it up in the next minute or so. But it's been a wonderful night yet again on a Monday night. Talked about a few different things, haven't we? We've talked about some features on the car. We've talked about the piston rings. We've talked about the fixing the injectors. We've talked about the turbo. We've talked about so much stuff tonight. It's been full on. I must admit, at Audi in the Park, I had some not very nice comments on silver TTs. It was disappointing to hear those things, sort of comments. Don't understand the problem. Probably worth just quickly touching that before I go, actually. I've got a silver TT, and I'd say when these cars came out, the public all loved silver TTs, because the majority of the cars that you see around at the time, and the car you think about is the ultimate TT, in your head, you close your eyes and you think of a TT, particularly as a non-TT person, you'd imagine a silver TT, because all the advertising, all the pomp and ceremony was all around the silver TT when it came out. That was the epitome of the car. And there's a real snobbery around silver TTs. I think 'cause there's so many of them, people think, no, they're common. So there's a lot of negativity about them. And there's some people refer to light metallic silver in not a very nice way. So that might be what you're talking about. There's a few more posts in the community page. Cool, I like that. But yeah, I don't get the dislike for silver cars. I have got one right here, and it was my first TT, and that was the colour I wanted. It wasn't a case of I bought it because I had to get that one. I wanted a silver one. So I think the silver car is a lovely looking car, personally. It might be a bit of a controversial statement, but I love the silver car, Vanessa. So don't worry. There's two of us that love them, me and you. So there you go. Silver is a very traditional German colour. Absolutely. It's the Auto Union colour from the 1930s. That's the colour they had. It's silver arrows, you know. Yeah, it was a bit hurtful to hear, but we've worked very hard on Tabitha. My advice to anyone that's got a car, and this goes to everybody, right, is your car is, if you put your car on Facebook, particularly, took a picture up, people will shout it down, right? Because that is just the nature of people. There's some nasty people around, and people just like to be nasty. That's what they do. It's not a car thing. That's just people thing. It's a bit of a shame in the world that people are like that, but that's the way it is. I get negative comments on the stuff I put out, and if I took it all to heart, then I wouldn't do what I do, and other people that get a benefit out of what I do would then be let down. So I don't let those people bother me. So that would be my advice to anyone, is if you've got a car and you like your car, that's all that matters. If people want to say bad things about your car, they think it's the wrong color, they don't like the spoiler, they don't like what you've done to it, they don't like your wheels, doesn't matter. If you like it, that's all that matters. Don't worry about what other people say or do. Doesn't matter. If you like it, that's all that counts. And that would be what I'd say on that. If I got worried about all the bad comments I've been sent, as well as the good ones, I wouldn't do this channel, honestly, which really is quite sad, isn't it? Colours go through seasons, absolutely. Purple, green and yellow wouldn't have been touched 5 years ago, but as the TT gets less common, you can expect the original colours will come back into fashion. Absolutely, and that's the way you've got to look at it. Cars that are popular, numbers of cars, the silver cars, there's loads of them, because back in the early 2000s, silver was the colour to have. You didn't see white ones, whereas going to the 2010s and everyone had a white car. I've got a white car. My son's got a white car. You know, that's the popular colours. Cars definitely are seasonal. You're right, Richard. Absolutely. Dave West, silver is a great colour, Mrs. Jugs. Ignore the comments. It's a very traditional silver arrows colour. There you go. Dave's got 4 of them. Dave knows what he's talking about. Steve Chesham, I couldn't care less what people say about mine. I was told my yellow Roadster with the red interior looked like a noddy car. Couldn't care less what people think. Do you know what, Steve? If someone had told me that, I'd gone out and bought a noddy outfit to wear in it and go, now what do you want to say? It'd be a statement. I think that would be a really cool thing. Or just AI it. That would be another way to do it, wouldn't it? Best thing is to try to ignore them, Vanessa. Absolutely. I have a silver one as well. Exactly. And that's saying a lot. There's a lot of people commenting that've got a silver one. So they can't all be wrong. Cheers, Andy. Darren in Minneapolis here. Just changed the YouTube name. Oh, that's what it is. Hello, Darren. Good to have you along, buddy. Thank you, everyone. I'll tell Lee what you've all said. Yes, please do. I still think the Mark 1 was the best TT. It's a modern classic. Yeah, I mean, I think we're all here for the same reason, aren't we? We're all here because of Mark 1 content, and we all have a Mark 1 or we like Mark 1s. And for me, there's only one TT, and it's that one right there. The Mark II was allegedly a refinement of the original model, but I think the Bauhaus design, the styling, all went out the window because it just became a very sterile environment. Doesn't have that feel. You're getting it. It's a bit of a different car. It's almost like it's not a TT. I don't personally like the rounded styling of it on the outside. It just looks like it's been someone's gone over it with a sanding block, personally, but that's just my opinion. The Mark III, it's not a TT. It's a completely different. It's a TT by badge, but it's not a TT in regards to the styling of the Mark 1. It's so unrelated. Park a Mark 1 and a Mark III next to each other, and the Mark 1 looks like a little tiny car. It's dwarfed by it. It's nowhere near related to it. Just because it's got a hatchback and it's got a bonnet and it's got two doors doesn't make it the same car. You know, just my thoughts. Although I have to say the Mark III is a lovely looking car, but it's not a TT in my world. It's looks a different thing, but I still like them. How do you add a post on the community page? Carl saying, can't seem to work it out. There's an option there to just to add a page. If you remember, you should definitely be able to do it, Carl. I will I'll put some instructions up on the on my post. I'm going to put it after the show so you guys can upload your pictures. And even looks good in 2026. Steve, absolutely does. I missed that last sentence off your statement, but it absolutely does look a great car in 2026, doesn't it? Absolutely does. Too right, it does. Guys, I'm going to call it a day there though for tonight. I want to thank you all for being on and supporting me and sticking with me tonight, going through a few of the things. Good that we all stayed connected tonight, which was great. I didn't have to keep reconnecting. I am going to see most of you, well, not most of you, but I'll see some of you a week next Sunday at Jeff's Meet, I'm sure. Those of you that aren't going, I'll see you online. But of course, we'll be back next week, next Monday, for TT Live as always. And don't forget, we will also be, there's a video going live tomorrow night about the spats. Definitely check out the spats video tomorrow night. I think that's quite cool, seeing those on the car. What an easy job that is to fit, just 2 bolts to fit those per side of the car. It's literally a 5-minute job and makes a big difference to the back end of your car. And they're freely available, £80 a set from Paul Cliff. What more could you want painted in the colour of your car? So absolutely check that video out tomorrow night. I want to thank you all again for being here and supporting me. It's so great having all of you with your comments, your questions. Makes me realise what I'm doing is helping people, which is great. So thank you very much all for being on tonight. And I will see you all next Monday for TT Live. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night, and I will speak to you next week. See you later.